AmaZulu King Misuzulu Kazwelithini has denied involvement in a 10 Rand donation campaign which was asking all Zulu people to contribute towards funding the affairs of the royal house. This comes after recent reports stating that the king's advisors have suggested that the Zulu King fund that the Zulu nation fund the king's independence. Newzroom Afrika's Silatiwe Ndlovu is tracking the story, joins us now. Silatiwe, good afternoon to you. What's the latest on this?
Good afternoon, Stephen. Well, earlier this morning we had a conversation, with the spokesperson for the Zulu royal family and the Zulu kingdom, that being Prince Thulani Zulu. Now, from that conversation, we understand that the suggestion came from, it seems as if the king's subjects were told that it is something that was discussed amongst the king's subjects. However, the spokesperson informing us that the king had no knowledge of that particular conversation. In fact, even just last night, there was a statement that was released where the king denies involvement. In fact, he distances himself from that 10 Rand donation campaign. It does also state that this particular conversation has not been tabled or endorsed by the King's Council. It was just merely a conversation that was discussed between the King's subjects. In that statement, Stephen, we are also reminded that communication regarding the Zulu royal family will strictly come from the spokesperson of the Zulu royal family and the Zulu kingdom. Now, we had a conversation with the spokesperson earlier on today in the morning. Let's have a listen to what he had to say when he set the record straight regarding the 10 Rand donation campaign.
Some people, especially the subjects of the king, might be concerned about maybe shortages of things that are to be done in the kingdom, and then maybe they thought of how if we donate. But I want equivocally to say His Majesty is not involved with all this. It has never come to be tabled in the palace or to His Majesty so that he take a decision about it. Even the King's Council has not spoken about it. It's just a suggestion. We live in a democratic country. If people are in dialogue and they are thinking how we should take the kingdom forward, it's theirs. It hasn't come to the palace.
So that's the conversation that we had earlier on this morning with the spokesperson, where he set the record straight. Of course, there were many concerns that were coming from the Zulu nation. However, the spokesperson stating that the king had no involvement in that particular 10 Rand donation campaign. Another conversation, Stephen, is regarding the announcement that was recently made by the AmaZulu King Misuzulu Kazwelithini, where he states that the Zulu reed dance will no longer take place at Enyokeni Royal Palace in KwaNongoma, but will now take place at Mashobeni Royal Palace in Pongola. Perhaps a bit of confusion when you are looking at the location for that second royal palace. This particular area where I am right now is KwaKhangela Mankengane Royal Palace. Now, just a stone throw away from where I am is Mashobeni Royal Palace. In fact, I'm looking at it right now. So if you are from this area, perhaps you will have that information in terms of where that royal palace is. This is now despite the fact that it is under Pongola. Now, we had a conversation with the spokesperson earlier on today, as of course there are other concerns coming from the Zulu nation regarding why perhaps the reed dance has now been moved from Enyokeni, where the spokesperson states that perhaps the Zulu nation can look at that decision as a new era for the Zulu kingdom. Let's have a listen to what he had to say regarding that new decision that has now been announced.
We are aware that people are taken by surprise. We've been to Enyogeni celebrating the reed dance for 40 years. And that it happens because the king that was there has left more than 40 years, who started this thing. But we were all unfortunate on the 12th of March 2021 when the king passed away, because that meant changing of everything. That meant that the king is no more. That means that all other programs that the king was doing and his own mission, it ceased to exist. But the good thing is, the Zulu nation will never stay without a king. There will be a king that follows. But the thing is, when the king starts, he starts his own legacy. He has his own rituals.
So that's that conversation giving clarity in terms of why the reed dance has now been moved to Mashobeni Royal Palace. However, Stephen, for today, we know that there is an engagement that is going to be taking place here at Kwakangela Mankengane Royal Palace, where we are set to see members of the royal family that are going to convene in this very area. We were told earlier on when we had a conversation with the spokesperson, in fact, those are some of the members of the royal family. We were told earlier on when we had a conversation with the spokesperson that today's engagement then is can be seen as a cleansing ceremony. Of course, there's been tensions, a few tensions within the family that we reported on a couple of months ago, where the outcome from that particular meeting that happened in Ulundi was that the family is trying to find peace. So for today then, we are told that this particular cleansing ceremony is going to be about finding peace when you are looking at the Zulu royal family.